Okay, I'll go first. I would say that my three strengths are musical, interpersonal, and I think it's pronounced kinesthetic.
Yep.
I say musical because I learn through songs, patterns, etc. I use that in my classroom daily. If you're in my classroom, I hardly ever talk to the kids. Everything, I'm always singing everything. Like, you need to pick up your toys. Like, everything is always just like,
I
mean,
love that, Tessa. I could see that in you. I could see that. Turning
I
everything
mean,
into
they were
song.
eating snack the other day, and all of a sudden I started doing the We Will Rock You,
Yeah.
like the beat. And the kids know the beat to that song. And all of a sudden I was like, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. And then they started singing with me. And then they're like, can you play that song when we're done? I was like, absolutely. So, I mean, we're just musical and fun. But I started doing that because I noticed that a lot of my special needs children, they start to grasp more if I can put songs on it and patterns on it. So that's just kind of always been me. And it just made it easier, in touch with feelings. I'm a very emotional person. So I feel like I can connect with other people's emotions. So I always try to show empathy in their feelings. And I've always been a very hands-on. You could tell me something 100 times, but until I actually do it with my hands on, I can't learn it. So I prefer to use that in the classroom because I feel like the kids learn best by doing instead of showing. I feel like I have two that I really need to work on. I always thought I was a logical person, but then when I was looking at it, I do really well with problem solving and reasoning, but I am horrible with numbers. Always have been my whole life. And then verbal. I think I'm okay here and I'm great in the classroom, but if you put me in front of people to speak to them, I shut down completely and I cannot get any words out. And sometimes I talk backwards, words comes out backwards when I'm reading a book to the kids. There's words that I say that are not there because I am dyslexic. So those are some things that I would like to work on.
Okay. For me, I'm musical, verbal, and intrapersonal. So like with the musical, I do find myself a lot of things, even for myself, like with doing homework, it helps me better with do my homework if I'm listening to music. Something about it keeps me alert, it keeps me focused. And I listen for like, when it comes to music, I can like listen to songs. Like you have how they have a lot of rap songs now, and they're sampling beats. I can tell you what that song was, the beat that they're sampling. I'm like, oh, that's not new. I remember that from when I was a little kid. The musical part, the verbal part, which is surprising to me, the talking, because usually, until I get to know you, I don't really talk. But according to this, I'm verbal. And the intrapersonal, I'm very empathetic. If I see somebody crying, I have to turn my head because if not, it's like waterworks. The ones I want to work on is visual. I could care less about this whole thing. Oh, well, this should be sitting here, and that should be. I could care less about that. That's not me. Like, okay, it's over there. It's not, it's in a spot. It's fine. All that. I was like, that's not me. And what was another one? The naturalist. I mean, I care about nature, but it's not to the point where, it's like the biggest top priority in my life. So, but it should be. I mean,
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead, sorry.
Whoever goes now.
Carmelita, I agree. Like natural, like, yeah, the nature's cool. We need that to survive, but it's not really my top priority either.
Right.
But I would kind of say I'm definitely very musical, just like you, Tessa. everything in my class, I make it a song, or I make it like I change my voice. I just like, I don't know, it helps me get through my day. So I feel like it helps them. Like for lunch, when we transition from lunch into nap time, my kids eat lunch in their class in the classroom because we don't have a cafeteria. So I put this YouTube song on every day. It's like a cleanup song, and like their goal is to have everything cleaned up, and they need to be in their cots before the song ends. So like I started that probably a couple months ago, and now they like ask for it every day. They ask for it, and like they're like, "Did we beat the song? Did we beat the song?" So like that's how I like to keep it musical, and just have a song for everything, because it just, I feel like they like it, and the transition goes smoother. In terms of the logical, I feel like problem solving, being reasonable, those are just natural skills you have as a teacher. I feel like you literally are putting out fires all day. So I think that's very much me. And then also verbal, I can, talk to kids all day. I can manage the entire classroom. I can, be a commander, you know what I mean? But then when it comes to adults, it's like, you know, I feel like I get too nervous. So like my words kind of stumble a little bit. So that would be something I probably have to work on as well. So those are my three.
I could go next. When I took it, I got logical. I feel like I'm good at like problem solving and like reasoning. And then just good at like noticing like sequencing. And then okay, yeah, sorry. I thought for a second my mute was off. And then I also got visual, like I learn best by like seeing things. Like I think a lot of children learn best by like doing things hands-on and also seeing things. So like I in the classroom, I'm always like, especially with my students, because I work in a structure class, like we're very visual learners. Like they have to like see everything. Like they literally have a schedule that's like yellow circle, green triangle. Like it's just visual is the best. And even like explaining things, like I actually have to see it to understand it. And then the last one I got verbal, just I feel like, especially like in education, like we're always like speaking and reading and writing things. So I feel like I've always I like in certain areas, I feel like I've always done better with like speaking or listening or reading. And then stuff that I would say that I just like have to work on is being like a naturalistic. I'm not really a outdoorsy person. So when I go outside, I'm not really like, oh, let's look at this, let's touch this. Like I'll often forget to do that. And then I would also say an external census. Like I don't really ask those big picture questions like, why are we here? Why are we doing that? Like I feel like those are kind of like related to science, which I know science is something I struggle with.
I can go next. So when I see my strengths, I'm definitely a naturalist. I like outdoors. We're doing a unit on gardening, and I just feel like we can just stay outdoor and explore and learn outside and indoors. I'm very interpersonal. I'm people oriented. I I work closely with adults, all the teachers at my workplace, and I love to co-plan and take their ideas and give my ideas and plan the best lesson for our students. I'm also very kinesthetic because I'm very hands-on. It shouldn't be that me teaching and kids listening. It should be, the activity should be we all are doing it and exploring it and getting through it. One thing I could improve is the logical part. There's always room to grow when it comes to logic, problem solving. So that's something I would like to improve if I have to. Thanks.
I would say for mine, Pooja, I'm with you on the naturalistic, right? So I feel like my strongest ones are verbal, interpersonal, and the naturalistic. So those I like to interact with the kids. I'm very verbal in my room. I'm talking, I narrate, I pretend like I'm a sports broadcaster, but they're just walking to to the sink to wash their hands, but I am identifying right foot, left foot. This shoelace is untied. Oh, and this person turned around, touched the ground. Everything that they do, my coach has told me to state. So I'm really big on verbal right now. Interpersonal, it said, more social and could be labeled as talkative. I feel like that fits me. So that one's pretty spot on. The naturalistic would be, I love outdoors and animals. So that was one of the touching points on it. And I don't feel like the traditional classroom has been accommodating for this. And that's why I enjoy partnering so much with Garden Works, because they come out and help us plant our own gardens. And during the summer months, I am with these kids outside 75% of our day, unless we have to be inside due to inclement weather. I'm all about putting your toes in between the grass and having fun with it. So I think that helps me because it gives the kids a different experience, right? Like going outside more. I think that it'll help them, hopefully, with seeing different things, and different sensory, right? So, but then the one that I need to work on most would be my intrapersonal, right? So it's not that I don't really look into my own feelings and values, like my ideas, but I'm not as reserved, right? So kids tend to be more reserved. Well, I would be more reserved, and I'm not that intuitive about what I learn and how it relates to me. It takes me a minute to like, oh, okay, I see what they just said. Oh, snap. I know I can relate to that on this level, but it takes a second for it to really click with me. So I think by them, I think that that's an area of growth that I could work on. And by doing that, it would gain me a different perspective for my kids that are a little bit more reserved, and kind of see how they're seeing things, maybe take a step back and not be as verbal throughout my day, so that I can then see like the shoe on the other foot, if you will.
For mine, I would say that I am like musical. I do like listening to music in the classroom. I like to turn on music, like elevator music or like music that all the kids know. I have a playlist on Spotify. I like to put it on like in the background when they're playing, like not too loud, but like loud enough so like they're able to hear it. Or like during transition times, just because I personally like the noise, especially when there are times of like quietness. Like sometimes when specific kids in my class aren't there, like it's just too quiet for me and it's not a good, like I don't know, I feel like anxious almost. So I put the music on, but I also would say that I honestly I don't enjoy outside. I'm not a fan of outside. But in school, I'm itching to get outside. When it gets warm, like how it like today, like it was still cold, but it was so nice because it was sunny. When it's days like this, and like because it's gonna start getting warmer, I'm itching to get outside because I just love being outside and playing on the park and like running around with the kids. So I like that aspect of like the naturalist. But in my personal life, I would rather stay inside, rather stay where it's air conditioned and there's no bugs and there's Wi-Fi. But I'm definitely a very big visual person. I need to be able to see things. I need to like my whole thing is when someone tells me how to do something, I always tell them, I was like, you need to show me how to do it, or I'm not gonna know, or it'll go in one ear and out the other. And a lot of my kids like are like that. And of course it says like enjoy charts and graphs and maps and tables, and that makes a lot of sense. I do like looking at those things. I feel like they help me. It does say puzzles, and right now I'm in a battle with puzzles in my classroom, so I hate those. The last thing is I'm definitely a more kinesthetic learner. I'm known around school as someone who's a little more active and like does the hands-on activities, doesn't mind getting messy, will sit on the floor and like build with the kids while a lot of other people aren't doing that. But the thing that I definitely would work on is verbal. Just because like I'm fine speaking in front of people. I do get like a little nervous, obviously talking to new people, but it's more so writing, reading, and listening. Because I have dyslexia, it's a rough ride for me. Um, it's just harder, I think, personally. And also the existentialist, that all those questions give me anxiety. I can't deal. Those are like questions that kept me up when I was little at night. And I would like have an anxiety attack in my bed because I'd be like, what am I doing here? What happens after I die? It's like, girl, you need to calm down. Take a Xanax and go. So I guess I could work on that, but I probably won't.
I like how this does all of it, and we're thinking back to when we were a kid, how we were, and all this and that, and how it fits now in our lives too. You know, like different things, how we answer, and it's making me reflect from when I was young, and I'm still kind of the same as I was when I was a child,
Yeah.
if that
Just a
makes
little
sense.
more mature. Like you still have those feelings, those vibes, but like you're a little older now.
Mm-hmm,
AKA me not working on the existentialist problems of life. Don't want to think about it. Out of sight, out of mind. The end.
I
Everybody's
would think that people who are existentialists have a lot of anxiety.
Only diagnosed. Am I right? All right. Did everybody share? Okay.